I got a lot of things on the docket, and if you want to talk about any of them, we can at 219-845-1100. Let's take a couple phone calls to get it going. Hey, how are you?
Hey, good morning there, Jim. How you doing there, buddy?
Hey, what do you think?
Well, I called about two different things, but I'm afraid if I mention the first one, we're going to get off track about yesterday's shooting. So I'm going to let the first thing go. The second one is, I guess you don't have to be accurate. You just got to be first because, I had to go up to Two Rivers, Wisconsin, pick up an oversized load, bring it back. So I was listening to them during the shooting and yesterday. Hakeem Jeffries goes on X and posts within, I don't know, Jed, 30 minutes, if that, of the shooting and said there's no room for weapons of war out in the public. And, it turns out that the guy has three different guns. One's a shotgun, one's a rifle, and one is a handgun. Well, I'm driving down the road just like, I don't even think they've even said there was a gun, what it was yet. Well, long story short, turns out to be three guns. And nobody mentioned the fact yesterday that the guy's wanting to be transgender. He's wacko in the head, in my opinion. I mean, you were born with, man genitalia. Now you think you're a woman. Again, first thing right off the bat is
All right,
go after the
hey,
gun.
Bill, I got to stop you for a second, okay?
Go ahead.
I can't find my wireless microphone, so I'm kind of tethered to this thing, and
And you're eating.
I'm eating, and I need to go over here and fill up my coffee cup. So keep going, but you can't stop for like 12 seconds. Okay, go.
Don't worry about it, man. I got you. So, anyways, we got a guy who thinks he's a girl that buys a gun, shoots up a school or a Catholic church, and the problem is nobody says anything about the guy that thinks he's a girl. And right off the bat, it's the guns. First things first, it's the gun. And again, with reporting the news before it's even accurate, it's like you got to be first, you can't be accurate. AP News, The Hill on YouTube, and Bill Maher is going after the Democrats repeatedly for the past several weeks about this very same thing I'm discussing with you, Jim. Nobody says anything about a person who has something wrong in their head that thinks they're a female when they were born a male. And Democrats are, I don't know, I'm not picking one side or the other, Jim, but where's the Democrats going here lately? Everything is just backwards with the Democratic Party. Let's stop from sending people out of the country that don't belong here, that's here illegally or MS-13 gang related. Everything that we're going after, like with Democrats, seems like it's wrong. And nobody in the Democratic Party comes out and says anything. So I'm just at a loss for words, man. It was sad to hear what happened. The guy who thinks he's a girl, that's a sad situation. And it just, I don't have words for today, for yesterday. I'm at a loss for words here, Jim.
Well, you're not the only one, Bill. I mean, it's there's a reason I came on late today, right? You could feel it. I'm like, all right, I'm going to swim, and I'm like, eventually I'm going to have to talk about a guy going up to the windows of a church and just start shooting little kids. And I'm not really sure that there's any other way to put it than just say it that directly. And every last one of us that listens and is part of this community feels that. And, especially a lot of the Catholics, maybe even a little bit remembering them sitting in churches. And I don't have it. I don't know what the transgender part of it will eventually mean. But I will say this. I think it's Beyond the Uniform. We have a new podcast. It's called Beyond the New Uniform yesterday, and it's hosted by Connie Karras, who was in the military. I want to say Marine, And I was on the air here 2 weeks ago, or no, not even like a week ago, and she all of a sudden blurted out. She goes, "Well, I got raped twice in the military," and I'm like, "Holy moly!" I'm
Oh,
so
yeah.
sorry, and I don't know if anybody caught that, and I didn't do it, but I'm like, it. She came out with it at the exact same time that she's starting this podcast, where it's just her. It has nothing to do with any of the posts or anything. And yesterday, she brought in a dude that's now a woman, and it was kind of different in that she is big and it's pretty obvious that she was once a man, and it was all about like what they're doing to them in the military and that kind of thing. And I don't really know the issues, but I know that there are a lot of people that are transgender. There's people listening now that are transgender. So I don't know if that's part of this equation. I mean, you keep saying that the guy's deranged, or the woman is deranged, or the guy's deranged. I don't
100%.
now.
In my opinion.
Yeah, deranged. I think that the manifesto is like the person said, "Oh, I'm suicidal and I'm depressed," and all of that goes in it. Now, in your mind, is it because of the sexual confusion?
In my mind, yeah. I mean, the last shooter that did this before the one yesterday was the same thing, transgender. The last shooter was another transgender.
So what's the answer there? Do we, we flooded? Well, hold on a second. We have people in the military that have gone one way. They've started out as a woman and now they're a man, and they go back and forth. And I guess now they're kind of purging them out of the military. But now you have people that are in society that were born one way with genitalia, got a penis and testicles, but inside in their feelings, they're a woman and they want to live as a woman. So do we push them aside, kick them out of the military, consider them deranged, or do we try to understand them so that perhaps we can keep this kind of thing from happening as often? You see what I'm saying?
Can I give you my Gen X?
Yeah, go
Bill
ahead.
Baker from Lowell answer?
Yeah.
Move them all to California. Let them have California. Let them have Minneapolis. Let them live among each other, and they'll have no issues. I don't have a problem with a transgender in per se, but let them live in their lives in peace and harmony with each other, where they've got their own community. Like the nudist colony down in Demont. They got their own little community. Let them have their own little space, man. Let them live happily among each other.
So are you saying, all right, and that's positive. I mean, that's possible. You could have.
And I'm not saying, Jim, but let them have their own area. Let them live among each other. I didn't mean to interrupt you while you were speaking.
No, but here's the question. Here's the problem with that line of thinking. It's like, all right, let them have their own area, and maybe there will be a transgender colony. There's a colony in Arkansas that says, I only want white people, and if you have any black in your or Hispanic or Muslim or anything in your lineage, you can't live here. And that's what they want to do. I mean, I don't know if that's going to hold up in the courts or not, but that's what they want to do. So if you want to have a colony of transgender people, do they have to live there?
No.
Okay, so they can still live. They can still live amongst us, but
yes.
Okay. Well, I mean,
but if you're going to live amongst us and you get someone that gives you a weird look, you have your own community. Go live somewhere where you're not going to have these issues. And I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying to bully these people. All I'm saying is, if people look a little weird and get a glance, someone looks at them, gives them a glimpse like, what the heck am I looking at? Don't be offended, because you are among the people who don't understand your life. We don't understand why you live like this. We don't understand why you want to live like this. So if you want to live like this, be amongst people who accept it.
Okay, and now that sounds like a simple solution, okay?
I
All
understand.
right, but you got to think about the practical implications of that. I don't want to talk about this guy, but you know, let's just say you're just a mill rat, and your wife and you have a couple kids, and one of them comes out and is a boy for a while, and then you could just tell that things are changing, and you're not sure is he gay or is something going on, and then all of a sudden one day he's like, hey man, I just got to tell you, I want to live like a woman and I want to change my name. I don't want to cut off my genitalia or whatever. I just want to dress like a woman and be like a woman and wear makeup and all that. So if you're that mom and dad, you still love that kid. You want to ship him off to California? Does the kid want to go to California? See what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying, but I'm telling you, Bill Baker Sr., if I told him I wanted to live as a woman, he'd beat the living crap out of me. Okay. And then he would tell me, pack your stuff and get out. And that's just the way it was. I mean, my dad, if he was still alive, he'd be 82. I don't know. How do you think your father would take it if you told him you wanted to be a woman at the dinner table when you were young? At that time.
Want to know something? I agree with you. My dad was, pretty strict and old school. And I sat with two of my buddies, Joe Preboy and Dan Nagy, and we were recounting how different it was growing up in the 70s than it is now, and that we may not make it now. And I get all of that in that time, but I think we've advanced. And, I mean, can you imagine you're in the 70s or the 60s and you're a parent and one of your kids, you have three kids, and one of the kids was a decent athlete and kind of moving his way up through middle school and so forth. And then all of a sudden he just kind of discovers that he's really a woman inside. And can you imagine the discord that would be and I guess kind of the shame that these people would have felt? I don't know if that's fair. You know what I mean? People are just born. And I get it. In this discussion, yes, the transgender needs to be a part of it. If the guy was already depressed and suicidal and now he thinks he's a woman and he's writing manifestos on Facebook, I think, maybe we need to take another look. But transgender itself or gay or lesbian or any of these sexual things that are different than you and me, think about it this way. I don't know about you, but from the moment I was born, really, I feel like, especially when I got into like 7th grade, I've kind of craved the fairer sex, pretty consistently. And I lived a life in California of just, my buddies aren't around, I'll do anything, and if you come on, many partners, female partners, and kind of always craving it. And then you get married and then you got to figure out what to do with that. But I feel kind of fortunate in that it's kind of been simple for me. You know what I mean? And it sounds like it has been for you. It has been very simple. I see women and I'm like, whoa. You know what I mean? I went to the beach recently and I'm like, they don't even wear bathing suits. It's just like a string up the backside. And I'm like, I'm not saying I'm not a fan of that, but it's very, I'm like, gritting my teeth because it's like kind of nice in a way. But I am attracted to that. And sounds like you are. But what if what you were attracted to was the dude that she's walking with instead of her?
Oh, my God.
Right?
Oh, I don't know. I couldn't imagine it because, Jim, I was in Clearwater, Florida for 11 days with the wife. And like you're saying, what they wear. I've never seen so much booty in my life, even at a strip joint. So she goes, what are you looking at? I said, honey, I'm window shopping. I ain't buying the merchandise. So
no, here, you went to Clearwater? I've been to that exact beach. And I know what you're talking about. And not only that, it's kind of cool because it's a little bit older than some of the other beaches. You know, so it's like a 35-year-old woman, which is, you know, I mean, I don't know if it's better or worse to look at her, but so in Clearwater, when you get to the bottom of the bridge and you go to the right, that was the bar that, what's that wrestler dude that just died?
Hulk Hogan's Hangout.
Yeah.
I was there the day before he died, Jim.
We would
the day before he died, I was there.
Oh, what's the name of that bar? But you go in there and Alexis.
Hogan's Hangout.
Yes. And Alexis and I, but I think before that it was another name. We didn't know it was Hulk Hogan's Hangout. And we go in there and we're sitting at the bar, and then all of a sudden Hulk Hogan sits right next to Alexis and starts talking to us. And I'm like, wow, that was kind of cool. We had a long conversation, and evidently he doesn't like Chicago for some reason. I'm not really sure why. And
I'm with him.
And whatever the deal is, but in the end, there's also a little store. I think you got to go one more street, and they sell, and I think they do this on purpose, is that instead of just like a regular pair of sunglasses where they're in front of you, they kind of zip around on the side of your face. They're not those kind of, they're not the kind that just take your whole eye in, but they're enough to kind of hold the side. Can't tell where you're looking. And I just want to let you know that they sell those sunglasses there, and I still have a pair. All right, we'll leave it at that. Man. We'll talk to you,
Can
man.
I ask you one last thing?
Sure.
With your JED TV app, I try to catch the morning shows, and they're not available. Do I need to re-download it, or are we not?
No.
Like posting.
They're there, and we are transitioning it, and the developer's not done to make them aware, to make it. So the only way you can really watch it on JED TV now is live, and then you can go to YouTube at WJOB 1230 and catch it old then. But pretty soon. I mean, it takes a little while and a little bit of money to get them to do this, but that app, Bill, it has it's JED TV Sports Network app, and it's just going to be basically for sports, and eventually we're going to get a separate one for news and talk and all that.
Okay.
Yeah, because honestly, the sports has overtaken us, and we did not expect it, and it needs its own app. So I apologize. I apologize.
I sent you a text and I didn't get a response. I said, "Well, either he's mad at me or he just don't give a dang."
No, I was working here at 8:00 last night, and they finished the class down the way, and the professor comes over and he goes, "Man, is everything all right? Can I help you out or whatever?" And I'm like, "Oh, that was really nice of you," but I just told him the truth, Bill. This is what you do when you own your own business. You come in and you're working at 8:00 at night. All right, man. Thank you. I love talking to you.
Have a good day, man.
Talk to you.
Bye.
Awful situation, folks. Awful situation. And I know that's what you guys want to talk about, but I got some bills to pay. Stay on the line. I'll be right back on The Voice and Face.